It's movie theme day. Of course, you can't tell what the movie is by the way I'm singing. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Is it Saturday already? Hmm. Might as well be. Ta-da! Poof! He appears. Ta-da! Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Lag. Hey, bum crack picker. And here we are. Yep. Yep. And no Sally yet. Hmm. What do you get when you divide the circumference of your jack-o'-lantern by its diameter? Hmm. Pumpkin pie? Aha! Yeah! You tapped faster than I could say it. Or I said it almost exactly. Yeah, I picked that pumpkin in the thumbnail. I picked it up Friday at a garage sale. It's an oldie. It's actually ceramic, made in the USA. Mr. Sadie. Ooh. There's a couple of folks who beat you. Craig. Craig. Texas Val. Valerie, how are you doing? Today is sunny. I thought today was Wednesday. 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 Yeah, it ought to sell well with the long. Actually, it's about time to put up your, if you've got things to sell for Halloween, because a lot of people are more nuts over any holiday except for Christmas. You know that though, you're resellers. Yeah, people will spend more money on Halloween than they do any other holiday except for Christmas. There, I said it. If I said it, it must be true. Yeah. So what's everybody? There are no 2 days. 2 days? There's today. There may not be a 2 day. There's a 2 day every month. What do you mean? Like October 2nd? November 2nd? Yeah. Yup, yup. True that, Valerie. Today's 2. I don't understand. You're gonna have to explain it to me. Explain it to me, Lucy. Of course, you don't know what that refers to because you're so young. You better explain yourself. Gwen is a bag of hurt. Her procedure went fine, but she is just hurting, hurt. There you go. Dwayne knows who I'm talking about. Lucy, Lucille Ball from the show I Love Lucy. Hmm. You're too young. Yeah, Gwen went in yesterday to get a cyst removed from right next to the root of her root canal. And so they had to open up her gum. She said it was the worst shot she's ever got. When they were putting in the deadener, they had to go in from the inside of the mouth, like, I guess you got part of your skull where your teeth hook onto it, on the top row of teeth. And the doctor was jabbing a needle up in there. She said the needle hurt worse than the surgery. But now she's home and she just, can you bring me another bag of ice? Can you make me some mashed potatoes to lick off of a spoon? Can you? And I'm like, yes. Yes, yes, I'm sorry you're hurting. And the poor thing is allergic to every painkiller on earth except for aspirin
You know
and
what helped me
Aleve.
with tooth and gum stuff was those freezies, the plastic tubes with Kool-Aid in them that you freeze.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't exactly that I needed to eat the stuff, but just chewing on those caused my swelling to go down a
Oh,
lot.
she ain't chewing anything for a while.
I mean, I know it's horrible, but it did. I mean, like, just to have it on there, it was better than not having
Mm.
anything.
She seemed to sleep okay. At least she was quiet. She
Mm,
didn't seem to get up and do much during the night.
yeah,
Usually when she's not feeling well, she'll get up 15 times during the night.
yeah. Made sure she was breathing right.
Yeah,
Okay. That she's doing okay. Mm.
it is a sad day for Texas and the nation.
Why?
Yesterday at Uvalde, Texas, an 18-year-old teenage man, for whatever reason, lost his mind. He shot his grandmother, and then somehow he got into the elementary school at Uvalde, Texas, and shot and killed a teacher, killed another adult, and killed like 15 children
Oh no.
in like the second through fourth grade.
That's horrible.
The way the schools are set up in Texas now, I don't see how an 18-year-old man could get into a school.
Right.
The schools around here have doors that are unlocked by pressing a button from the office.
So somebody screwed up.
And there's only one way that a person can gain entry into a school.
Yeah. That's so sad. 19 children.
So, yeah, Biden already made a speech yesterday evening about it, and
Good morning, Julie. Morning, everybody else that I haven't said good morning
It's
to.
time to get some backbone.
Yeah.
And
Did they
so
kill him?
he went immediately to gun control.
Did they kill him?
Yeah, the
Good.
officers killed him.
But I mean, really, I think he should be strung up somewhere and tortured. But that's just me. Oh,
So
I don't blame you, Julie. It's horrible to think that you have to send kids to school after something like this happens when there are so many mental health issues in the United States, people with mental health issues and nobody is paying attention to it, you know. I'm glad the shooter is dead so that he can't hurt anybody else. But I feel like, if people don't try to get help and, you know, they or they try and they're turned away, that's something that we need to look into. It's
yeah,
it's horrible. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
The news was saying the border patrol and the city police and the highway patrol. There were like 5 different agencies showed up to take care of the.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank goodness, Julie. I'm glad that he's gonna be out.
I'm sure when the officers get through questioning grandma and what all was taking place, that we'll have a little bit more light on the subject.
Yeah. And like Anessa says, there's more to this than just guns. It's having maybe some other test needs to be done before you get a gun. Maybe they need to look into that more to make it more difficult to get a gun. You have to pass a comprehension test, some kind of comprehension test that will show. They have stuff like that that shows different kinds of mental illnesses, you know. And I think if you don't pass that, then I mean, just like they give they do evaluations for being in the military. You know, they're not going to let somebody that's not mentally okay. Um, they're not going to let somebody that's mentally okay have access to guns and military type weapons. And it's sad because I'm a gun owner and my son's a gun owner and I like being able to have that right. But I do feel
Yeah.
like that they definitely need to look into that to where, they need to no, lag, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying they need to look into it and evaluate how they're giving guns. You know, let somebody take a test and, just like a basic comprehension test. And, you know, and if they don't pass, then they can't get a gun. I think you have to have some, not saying that the people that have um, mental deficits, like as far as not being able to read or not being able to comprehend what they read. If they have that problem, then they can maybe have the test read to them. Just like they do in school. They'll um, they
But
will.
those, like Lag's saying, those changes you're talking about would be more gun control.
Well, Possibly. I mean, if that's what we have to do to keep these people from getting a hold of guns. But usually what will happen is they get the gun from somebody else. They're not even getting the gun themselves. You know, they're getting it from their grandma or whatever, you know? So maybe they need to start having, maybe it's the thing of you need to have a lock. You need to have, you know, um, whatever you have to do. I don't know. I'm not I'm not a political person, and I know this all gets political. Um, and I also know that when I know that this kind of stuff happens all the time, maybe not to this extent, but this kind of stuff happens all the time where kids brings guns to school and they might show it off or they might even hurt a person and it's not even talked about in the news because the news doesn't want to cover it because they're trying to cover something else. And, maybe they blow this one up to make it super huge and at the same time they're trying to, pressure for stricter gun laws or, you know, it's it's kind of like a game, because stuff like this happens all the time where people are being shot or whatever and they don't deserve it, and then, nothing is said about it. So if something is said about it and it's very well publicized, then, you know, um, it could be it could be something that has to do with promoting promoting stricter gun laws or whatever. Yes, I agree. I know that there's Mike, I know that there's, all kinds of signs of being mentally unstable, and, and really they're just not they're if somebody says, "I need help," and they go to the mental health, they can get seen. They don't have to have money. You're supposed to be able to get seen without money, and, so I think that they really need to take a really hard look at those people that are reaching out, and but most of them don't. If they're really going to do something like kill a bunch of kids, they usually will not have, any signs that they show anybody else, and it's, possibly because they secluded themselves or, you know, they don't share their plans with people. I don't know.
Yeah, but and Sadie will probably agree with this because he's talked about being a little crazier when he was younger.
Well,
And
I
I
was
suppose
too.
all of us did crazy things when we were young.
Except you,
Were
Todd.
we, I know, don't interrupt me. No, I'm teasing. You can interrupt all you want. But what I'm saying is, was was I kind of mentally out of whack when I was 18? Because I would do some crazy things. We'd go to the we'd
Mentally
go to
out
the
of whack.
swimming area, pick up a rock, and walk out as far as we could
Yeah.
before dropping the rock. And whoever lasted the longest was the toughest. I would do stupid. What if I dropped the rock on my foot and got it trapped on the bottom of the lake? And then that was stupid.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, 18. Yeah, he's old enough to be in the military. Slap a slap an automatic assault rifle in
Yeah.
those guys' hands.
See, that's the
What's
thing.
the
Like,
difference? Because they're trained?
like your hormones and everything make you completely crazy when you're that age. And um, one of the really bad things is schizophrenia. Schizophrenia doesn't usually get noticed in males until they are 17 to 25. And that's a really hard age to say, oh, there's something wrong with this person
Yeah,
because, with the hormones and everything,
we would
there's something wrong with all of us.
we
So,
would throw a knife down. You'd stand toe to toe with a friend and stick a knife in the ground between the other person's foot and take turns until somebody got stabbed in the foot. Yeah, I used to do that. We did that at Boy Scout camp all the time.
or the knife between the fingers. You ever did that one?
Uh,
Oh yeah.
I had friends that would, but I knew that was going to end badly. And of course, my friends that did that, I had scars.
Yeah. I mean, when I was a teenager, you know what was super big was to take an eraser and erase the back of your hand until you made it raw, and then it would scab over, and then you'd have a scar. Why? But I have a scar.
So you admit that pretty much everyone does stupid stuff when they're young.
Yeah,
Um,
like, one way or another, I think it's your hormones maybe.
I,
I
I
know
would drive
you
my
have
car
one
too
too, Jordan?
fast, or see how fast I could take a corner in a car,
Yeah.
or any
Well, I was
number
the
of
driver.
things.
I was the driver. My ex-husband was on top. On top of the car.
I I did that too, junk trader. I would stick,
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I was big on that
pins
too.
and needles underneath the
Yep.
first layer of
It
skin,
Yep.
and the girls would all go, "Ooh, stop that!" Ooh.
I
And I thought that was cool. Yeah, stupid stuff.
I don't know enough stuff, and I'm scared to find out, but it's gonna happen soon to me. Stop it under the car. Okay, so I would be driving, and him and his friends would be on top of the
Yeah.
car, and so I was supposed to, make jerky motions with the car to kinda fly him off, and
Ooh.
sometimes I did, and they were fine. They just rolled. Um, but yeah, I mean, why? Why would I do that?
Yeah.
If somebody got killed, I could go to prison for that.
Yeah. My boy. My boy got into a window smearing war with his friends, and
Sneering?
yeah, the windshields on the cars, they would go put Vaseline and shoe polish and stuff on the windows of each other's cars until they
Oh,
couldn't see out. My son drove straight into a ditch, just
oh
head
my,
head first into a ditch.
wow.
Yeah, it's a good thing there wasn't a house or a dog or a child out there.
Yeah. Yeah, car surfing, that's basically what it was, yeah. Or if the teacher was strapped, another kid or 40 kids could all plan to take the guns from teachers and have 40 armed gunmen running around. True.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to this because you're
They got a
always
group of
gonna
three or
have
four in close to Denver. What was that school? That was a high school though.
Yeah.
It was more than one assailant. It was two or three or four of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was
Of course, it's not limited to teenage men.
no.
You know, Columbine High School. Um, that one at Sandy Hook was that guy was like 40 something, wasn't he?
I don't think so. I don't think that he was that old.
Yeah, or at least run it like in Orlando. We went through scanners and bag
Adam
searches
Lanza.
at the entrance to the Disney theme parks. Be right back.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, Adam Lanza was only 20. So do it like airlines, but in schools, you don't know who on board has a gun, but there is someone. Rotate teachers or staff that carry. That sounds pretty good. They just can't be sloppy with it. You know, they're gonna have to pay attention to what they're doing, make sure that nobody really notices, you know. Yeah, I agree with that too, Glock 30. Tim, 1 million guns known to be missing from various police stations and military bases. How many more are gone but not yet missed? That makes sense. Like, you know, I mean, I don't usually check to see if my gun is in the spot that I put it in every day, but I do check on it every once in a while. But maybe I should be better at that, you know, just to make sure that, you know, nobody came in and stole it while I was gone or whatever. It's scary. It's a scary thing, you know, to have somebody you know, be able to get a gun when they're not okay in the head. Yeah, but I think they would have to be I think that they should be, still, like, mentally evaluated before all that, Mike, you know, if they're retired, because a lot of things can happen with, you know, retired, law enforcement or retired military that can cause them to go off as well, you know? That's just from stations and bases. No telling from how many from personal owners. Yeah, that is so scary. Yeah, that's all our high school has. Well, it's a liaison um, officer that covers the high school, the elementary school, and the middle school. Yes, I know it's not the gun alone killing the person, but it's definitely I yeah, I think that if they get the gun from a parent and they have to kill the kid, you know, to keep them from killing other people, well, whether they have to kill the kid or not, I think they should definitely have to put the parents under scrutiny. You should have to be responsible for your child. And if you think that your child's going to steal your gun and take it to school, you need to be responsible for that. Oh my gosh, lag.
Just lock up every young man that's not in the military between the age of 16 to what's the top age? 27. After that, they can be let back out.
Be so many lawsuits, the world would collapse. Yeah, I don't I don't know. I really don't know what could, prevent. That's the whole thing. You want to prevent anything from like that from happening. Um, I actually think that the whole airline thing is right. Fishing and Pickens said it right. You know, just have them set up to do metal detectors when the kids come in. Any adults that come in, they need to go through and have armed either armed security or retired officers carrying guns or you know I think it would feel like a safer situation if you had the military or retired officers come in rather than have the teachers carrying, because that could come down to a teacher needing to kill somebody that was hurting other people, but maybe they known this kid since they were in kindergarten. How hard it would it be to pull the trigger, even if even if you knew that they were going to hurt more people.
Yep. But I think back, schools I attended, anybody could just walk in, walk down the hallways. Nobody would stop them. There were no security checkpoints. There were no um, anything like that. Anything like that could have happened much more easily when I was in elementary school.
Yeah,
But it didn't, those kind of things didn't happen back then.
right.
So you're right. It's a mental health problem that we have now that we didn't have back then.
Yeah. And I definitely think that if you close schools down like that, sure, it's gonna create problems for, people needing to pick up their kids, or, you're gonna have to do it in a different way. Like most times you have to have, I think when Valerie goes to pick up, um, her grandkids, she has to sign she has to sign something, and they have to match it with the names that are allowed to pick them up, you know? They have to match that. So, they don't just give your kids to you. Whenever you go to pick them up, you sign them out, and then they match the name to whoever has to pick them up. or is approved. Yeah. So it's not easy, and yeah, they're just gonna have to go to something like that, which will make it harder. It'll make it harder because then you have kids that go on the bus and all of that, so that has to be all monitored. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, Glock, I don't think he was able to get, I think he was in the school before the cops showed up. I don't think he had to fight through any cops to get in the school.
Um, yeah, see, Tommy says that this all his schools are locked, but not after school for sports. Anyone can walk in and camp out. Yeah.
Yeah, even though the schools are locked, you know, every day, three or four times a day, different classes of kids go out on the recess playground, and
Mhm.
somebody could just lay out in the field next to our school and just pick them off with a rifle.
Yeah.
So you keep them locked inside the whole time they're at school.
That's
And
awful.
then the boys and girls go out for track practice. They're out there on in an open stadium. Somebody could hide in the grandstands an hour or two before practice starts and just start.
Pickens says, I don't know about ex-military. My neighbor is a newly retired 39-year-old guy is fucking nuts, but I understand him. When he is on his meds, he is a cool guy, but the flashbacks of war get the best of him. Well, that happens to a lot of people, and that's why I said they have to be able to pass a mental health uh, check, just like they were going into the military. A lot of those guys aren't going to be able to pass. Um, but you know what? There's also a thing as, you might not pass the first time, but then they, try to get smart enough to like outwit it. And there's some guys that can do that, um, even if they are mentally ill or smart. So, I mean, it's not gonna catch everybody. I don't know. They, I know that they are starting to have something at the VAs where um, they're microdosing with psilocybin mushrooms, um, and it's helping people with PTSD. And so they're trying to do studies on it. It's at the first part of you know being able to do it, but it's really hard for them to do these big studies. They're only allowed so much, or only allowed to do you know so much with the testing and everything like that. But they're trying to they're trying to do it, and I think it's great if you can find a somewhat medicine of you know I mean it seems like it's doing wonders for these guys, that are guys and girls that are having problems with PTSD. So I hope it's a good medicine for them. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. Up the says son is a kindergarten teacher, which is a very scary occupation some days. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Ketamine is being used too to treat bipolar disorder. I think it's great to find uses for that kind of stuff. At least somebody's getting, you're not just getting loaded on, on illegal drugs or whatever. You're using it as a medicine, which I think is awesome. What's up?
Man, I laid in bed last night and thought about this, and I got madder and madder. It's all these damn politicians sit up there. They've got armed guards around them to protect them, and they leave our schools unprotected and leave them to hopes and prayers. And you got all these damn leftists who want to take something happens. They want to take my damn guns, like mine did anything wrong, and take my rights away. Whenever we can lock these schools down and we can provide protection one way in, one way out, arm these teachers. And I just read an article about one teacher. She'd been teaching for 23 years. She was shot shielding kids. All they had to do, if she was trained, point a gun right at this SOB and put him down. I mean, it's this is our own doing. I mean, until we get people who are not scared to do things the correct way and quit listening to these damn pansies and all these damn politicians are a bunch of lawyers. Lawyers suck.
Mm-hmm.
We're never going to end this. We're never going to end this. And it's not a coincidence, folks. This stuff went away under Trump. They knew better to pull the shit because what Trump would do to them, and their record highs under Obama and now Obama again. It's you gotta end this one way or the other, and these pansies. You really want to show me you value our kids? Do something about it. We can do it. We spent $40 billion and sent it to a foreign country to launder money back to our damn politicians.
Mm-hmm.
You could have spent $300,000 per school in this country for that money. $300,000 per school on security. Don't tell me we can't fix it.
It's a national security issue.
We don't want to fix it. We can fix it today. We don't want to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely, fishing. I mean, when I first started teaching, we would put our shotguns in the pickup, drive to school, and then after we got through teaching all day, we would go out hunting.
It was the same. It was the same, Todd. It was even. I'm what 10 years behind you. It was the same thing. I went to a county high school. We all had gun racks. We would go to school and then go hunting on the way home from school. I mean, nobody ever did anything. If there was an argument, it was a fist fight. We don't value life. That's part of it. Is they started this assault. Start doing some reading in the late '60s. They started with the black family. What did they do to the black family? Lyndon B. Johnson introduced welfare and said that he would have generation after generation of black voters for the Democratic Party because he would make them a slave to the state. That's exactly what he did. They've replaced the black husband with welfare, and they have. Look at it. If you don't believe me, do the research. Oriental children are some of the most educated. Why? They come from two-parent households. These parents stay together. They're a minority, and you would think that the same thing would happen to them would happen to other minorities. They are the opposite because of their family values and the way they had least out of wedlock children. They had the least divorce. They had the least everything. And imagine that they are the most successful because the family unit is the way we were designed. We've done this to ourselves. You want to know why they didn't happen back then? They happen now. The assault on the family.
Yeah, absolutely, fishing. I would get between and have gotten between an outside influence and a student lots of times. We were on a band trip. We were staying at a hotel for an over 2 or 3 day band trip, and some guys we'd been to a water park with the kiddos, and a couple of guys that the girls had met at the theme park came to our hotel and tried to get in to see those girls. Yeah, I got between them and the girls real fast. No, no, you're leaving. And I instructed the hotel manager to call the police right then.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the police showed up, but the guys had already left. But I said, no, you're not seeing anybody. You don't follow a busload of kids from a theme park to a hotel.
Right.
And we've got to quit. We got to take the handcuffs off the police. You know, we blame the police for everything. Look at what is one thing all these shooters have a couple things in common. They all have psychiatrists. They all have mental issues. We failed this country with dealing with mental health. We're awful with mental health and helping people get the problem. You know, throwing medicine at people is not the answer. And then we blame the cops for everything. You know, every time somebody attacks the cops and the cops have to do something to them, you know, they sue the city and, you know, they're ghetto millionaires because their relative attacked the cops with police guns, whatever. The FBI knows all these people. None of these people that are doing this crazy shit are not known to law enforcement. They are. They just can't do anything about them until they do something catastrophic.
As a side note to that theme park
Hi, Beth.
story, later that summer, after school was out for a week or two, the parents of one of the girls invited those boys from that theme park to come visit. And wouldn't you know it, their daughter turned up pregnant. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all.
She was a senior that year in my band, and
I mean, we're not allowed to have these kind of discussions because if you have the opinion I have, you are ostracized. The left, you know, will block you from everything, will not allow you to have a voice, will not, you know, because they've determined they're right as they look at what the left has done. Do you want to live in any of these major cities? How many people want to go live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin right now? I just picked Milwaukee out. We can go to Minneapolis, any of these Seattle, Portland, any of these hellholes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Southerner for a reason.
you know,
You don't think if they allow Southerners to fortify a school, you think they'd ever get into one of these? There's no way in hell.
Yeah.
There's one thing the South's got that in abundance, including Texas, rednecks will find a ingenious way to make it where you'll never get in. Everybody will be safe, and they die defending these children.
mm-hmm.
So do you think that there should be like a more control on it, like on being able to get guns, or do you think that there should be like, you know, like a better questionnaire, like as far as being able to get a permit, or do you think it matters because they'll get the
Doesn't
gun?
matter. How many of these people are using legal guns to do all this? Not a one. If you want a gun, they're going to go buy one. You know,
Yeah.
these are not law-abiding citizens, and you cannot kid yourself by thinking, what law could you have put on the books that would have stopped that mess yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uvalde is only 150 miles from Mexico. You think you can't get guns along the border for?
Oh yeah.
For anything?
You don't think the drug cartels, which the border's wide open, are bringing guns back and forth? You don't kid yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
And we don't need to put a wall up down there to stop some of that. No, we don't need a wall. We need more gun control. Yeah, right.
So what was going on yesterday that they needed to that maybe they needed to cover up, or
they've got gun laws in Congress and committees right now that they're trying to get out and get passed, and so their answer to getting more restrictive gun laws passed is to have violence created that makes the American people scream out. But from what I've read, everything I read, it's having, especially on the right side, it's having the opposite effect. when this happens and you have 5 or 6 politicians all have the exact same thing posted about, we're sorry, more guns, more gun control. You can tell it's all a setup. I mean, this kid was troubled, and they pushed his buttons to do whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's people that are in our nation that are picked to because they're very, you know, they're very confused about, whether they're mentally ill or not, and they're just like kind of on the brink. And there's people that can be pinpointed to create this kind of tragedy. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think we know, lag. I mean, we're just trying to figure it out,
Well, I can promise you one thing, like, more gun laws ain't gonna do squat. They're not gonna do squat. Blaming the guns, legal gun owners blaming and all these things. Like, give me an example of where a legal gun owner like me decided to go out and do all this crazy ass shooting. See, the one thing they do, like, when they control the media is when I need my gun for self defense, or you have people that defoil robberies and all that stuff never makes the papers. It never makes anything. Homeowners who have to defend themselves and put down criminals who are robbing them. Except in Florida, there's a sheriff, 2 sheriffs in Florida, Polk County, I think Lima County. Every time something happens, they'll get up there and say, well, another homeowner did our work for us. They put them in the ground so we didn't have to. We appreciate that. It would have cost the taxpayers of Florida a lot of money. I like that guy a lot. You don't get the truth. We've had it your way, lag. We've had it delivered way for a long time. How about we use common sense and take care of the schools for once? And Sally's, there are plenty of veterans who don't have mental issues who would just look at when things happen. We make out bikers today, we make them out to be, oh, they're on the fringe. How about when a soldier dies or when something happens, these bikers rally. These are good, honest, hardworking, American flag-loving people who would protect these schools. I'm telling you, you could find the right people that would love to spend a few hours a day making sure that your children are safe in a learning environment. You just don't. Sally's 100% right. You don't allow everybody. There are people that have real problems coming back from the military, and I understand the shit they've seen. I don't know if I can process it, and so I understand there's some people that have PTSD and they have lots of issues dealing with. My brother's one of them, and my brother wasn't even in wartime, but some of the things that happened to him while he was over there, he struggled with alcohol, dealing with it. There's nobody to give him help. Nobody to give him help.
No. It's just, it's kind of hard to, like I don't have kids in school anymore, but whenever I did, that was always, something that's in the back of your mind. You're sending your kids to school to go somewhere that they're supposed to be safe. And when they're not safe, then who's to blame?
It's an illusion of safety when you put them in a gun-free zone and advertise to the world that here's one place you can go and do whatever you want to innocent people, because they're not going to be able to do anything back to you. You're creating targets. You're not saving the kids. You're not making them safe. You're not doing any of that stuff. You're making them targets. 100% making them targets. And Glock fan, if people want to read about the UK decided, it's hard to get guns over there. So what they start doing? They start stabbing each other and setting each other on fire and throwing acids. If people want to do damage, they're going to do damage. There's been people in the UK who've stabbed 15, 20 people, killed quite a few of them. Do the reading about the actual violence in the UK versus the violence here. Do you want to be Australia? Somebody asked me earlier, about guns. They asked my opinion yesterday, and I'm like, if you take away the Second Amendment, take away guns from this country, you're going to be Australia. So what was Australia's answer to the COVID lockdown? They put you in camps if you didn't take the. They'd come arrest you if you tracking on your cell phone. If you went too far away from your house, they arrested you and put you in camps until you either got the shot or they decided to let you go. Do your
Wow.
research on what happens when you don't have guns and what the government will do to you.
Yeah.
Ask the Japanese in World War II what the government will do to you. If you're the Second Amendment, folks, was not written for personal protection. It was for your protection from the government. That's why they can't do anything about the Second Amendment. That's why we're different with a constitution that they can't take our rights away. Because it's the Constitution, people misunderstand it. It's a contract between the American people and government. This is what we will allow you to do. These are our rights that you can't take away, and this is what you're allowed to do. Every time they put a gun law on the books, they're violating that commitment, that agreement that the government, they are freedom of the press, freedom of speech. You never can touch that. Why is the Second Amendment, get qualifications?
Yeah. So so when they do make those gun laws a little bit stricter, they're basically violating the Second Amendment.
Correct. It says shall not be infringed.
So why are they allowed to do
Shall
that?
not. That's why right now it's going to be very interesting for people who pay attention. The Supreme Court is set to rule in the next month or so on the New York laws. New York has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, including concealment. So they were sued over concealed carry. You've got to jump. It costs you a fortune, and you've got to know somebody to get a concealed carry in New York. And so there was a group that decided, this is illegal. This is against the Constitution. It's made it to the Supreme Court. So that is going to be a very interesting, and it's due up this summer. The ruling on that. That might be your answer too, Sally. Is how do you do that? You threaten the Supreme Court. You march outside their house, and now you're going to say they've got an important case about gun rights coming up. What happens now? They're going to raise hell about abortion all summer. What happens if the Supreme Court comes out and says New York laws are unconstitutional? Concealed carry is a God-given right, like it should be.
Yeah.
Then what are they going to do? They're going to riot and carry on again.
So why doesn't more happen in other countries? We just got back from when we crossed the border from Slovakia into Austria. Our bus was boarded and each one of us had our IDs inspected by border police with automatic weapons strapped on. Maybe they just do a better job of protecting their people over there than we do here. Like Scott said, if you protect your schools, you protect your borders, that kind of stuff probably won't happen as much in other countries. But no, it's because they got stricter gun laws. No, I don't believe that.
Now, if you look across the U.S. at where gun violence is and the gun laws, it's a huge generality. Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the country. How's that working out?
Is constitutional carry the same as open carry?
No, constitutional carry means you can conceal carry without a permit.
Oh.
It means you don't have to have a permit to carry a gun, period. Open, conceal, it doesn't matter.
Wow.
Alabama passed it this past year. I think there's 20 some states that have passed constitutional carry laws, I believe. I can look it up. Block 30 Bank can probably tell you how many. But it's on the calendar for a lot of states that have been voting on this. I know Oklahoma did it.
Well, folks, I got to go here, do some things for Gwen because she's hurting.
Okay.
And It's about that time anyway.
Yeah.
I hate to end the discussion because I think it's important for rational people to
Yeah, I
talk
think I'm gonna
about
go
this
live
stuff.
tomorrow. I'm gonna go live tomorrow night and unleash this. My other channel is back as Cracker Beer because a lot of people don't discuss this kind of stuff. I'll leave it open. Anybody wants lag, come on. I'll turn the camera on. I'll leave the camera turned off. I'll send you a link or I'll put the link out there.
There you go.
I'd love to. I mean, open discussions. That's the other thing too. Is just real quick. You're not going to solve these problems by one side or the other side dominating. It's going to take both sides coming together, the left and the right, to figure
Yes.
out what's best for this country. You know, you hear if you hear from the crazies on one side versus the crazies on the other, who gets caught in the middle? 80% of the people, and we suffer. So it really needs to be the majority of the people need to come together and figure it and put a bunch of minds together to figure out how to stop this. It can be done pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So
the most important thing is talking it through.
tomorrow, what time do you figure, Scott?
So what?
Tomorrow you're gonna have an open
Yeah.
discussion, and
Yeah,
what time?
my second channel. It used to be the live channel. I'll rename it the Cracker Beer here in a minute.
Okay.
I would do it tonight, but Harlan's going live. I told him I'd hang out with him and he's doing an eBay hangout tonight.
Okay.
He wants to do more of that.
Like 8 Central Time, something like that.
Yeah, 7 or 8. It'll be for
Okay.
3 or 4 hours, so you won't be able to miss it.
Yeah. I don't wanna miss the Housewives show, that I watch.
So
All right, folks, I gotta go. Thanks for the great discussion.
Now, Gwen, we hope she feels better.
I know we don't try to do too much political on here, but it was kind of unavoidable today. So
Have a good
bye.
day.